Go.
Okay, so, it's one of those things where I do go out quite a bit. I do date quite a bit, and it's partially because I just enjoy dating, and that's why I do what I do. I do what I do because I love dating, and I know just from friends of mine, et cetera, that a lot of single people hate dating, and they avoid it, and they're like, oh, men suck or women suck or whatever, and it's like, but it's because they bring in all this other stuff with the date when it really is just a get-to-know-you session. And it should be fun. It should be like, okay, this person might not be the one, but I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy them and get to know them. So real quick to answer your question, I do go out quite a bit. For example, like this past week, I went out with 2 or 3 different guys that I know. And it wasn't anything like crazy. It's not like a big sex fest or nothing like that. It was like coffee or dinner, that kind of thing, which most people would consider a date. For me, it's like I enjoy the company of these people,
Right.
So I go out with them. But technically, if you want to put like terms or things on it, I did go on like 3 dates this past week. So yes, I do date a lot.
Now, for you, as a dating advice girl, have you been on a date where even though you like being single, you like the freedom, have you been on a date where part of you wants to give in and go steady with this person, get to know them more, but you can't let it happen? And or, 2-part question here, and or you've been on a date with somebody, some guy, and it's like, oh my God, when is this going to end?
Yes and yes.
Oh.
So, so the first part of the question, I mean, of course, and this is the thing, like I said, I've been in some monogamous relationships. I've had a year of it here, 2 years here and there, in, a committed relationship. But, I mean, the thing is with me, I'm somebody I'm very busy. My schedule's really crazy. I do all these, I overextend myself all the time. I never, it's like I'm running to this, I have to go to this meeting and this, whatever. So if I really want to commit to someone, like they really have to, first of all, understand what I do for a living and be okay that I write dating advice. And then,
and you have to date guys to be able to write that advice.
Right. But, and it's funny, I'm very understanding. Like, I understand if somebody's not okay with my occupation. Like, I get it. I totally understand it's not for everybody. So, but that's the thing. It's like, I have to really make sure that the person that I am thinking about committing with, understands what I do and understands my schedule and, really likes me as a person, not as a personality, and just gets all of that stuff. So I do meet people like that. And when I do, yes, I am open to a relationship. But again, I'm very picky with that because I don't want, I lay it all out in the beginning because I don't want someone to be misled and I don't want people to be like upset or like hate. Listen, it's never good to be in a bad relationship. So rather than be in a bad one, I make sure that it's really going to be good before I commit. So having said that, I do date a lot of people that I like, but that maybe I wouldn't want to be exclusive with because they don't, just for various reasons. But yes, if I met the right person, of course I would be committed to them. And the second part of that question is, yes, I for sure have been on dates where I was like, oh my gosh, this can't end quick enough. And it's really funny. It's really funny you asked that question because just this past week, I posted on my Facebook page. People can find me at the Dating Advice Girl on Facebook or Erin Tillman, my name. But so I posted a weekly dating tip, which I do every Monday, and it basically said something like, it's really rude. Like, just make sure if you're on a first date or if you're on a date, don't text or answer phone calls at the dinner table or in the presence of your date because that happens all the time. And so this one guy replied to me, and he's like, actually he replied on LinkedIn. He replied to me that, but that's a great way to get out of a date. If you're with someone you don't like, have a friend of yours call you so you can get out of the date.
Oh, God, you're kidding.
I know, but people do that stuff. I even said to him, like, listen, you're right. I guess that is a way to get out of a date. I've never done that,
right.
But it's a way to get out of a date. But, you do want to be respectful. So on the occasions, to bring it all back, on the occasions that I've been on dates where I didn't have fun or it was just kind of like there just wasn't chemistry or whatever, I didn't leave the day. I didn't have a friend call me to escape the date. I basically just said, like, if we were at dinner, for example, we just made it a short dinner. So, I just would say, I have to get up early in the morning, or, I forgot there's something I need to do in the office, let's, instead of going to the movie, can we cut it short tonight or whatever, rather than abruptly just say, oh,
Gotta go.
I gotta go. Exactly, and nothing could be more rude. And this is what's funny, too, like, again, the social website, LinkedIn, keeps coming up. With something like that, like, just imagine, and because I do have I'm kind of business-minded, so a lot of times I equate dates and dating to business relationships and contracts. Because the thing is, just imagine that you were in a meeting with somebody, and you would never, ever leave on a bad note with a client. You know what I mean? If you had, like, a dinner meeting or a coffee meeting or something. So the thing is, the world's a very small place, especially Los Angeles and any city you live in. People talk and word gets around. So just even if you aren't interested in someone on a date, just imagine and just know that, bad news travels fast.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So don't leave on a bad note. So even though I've been on dates where I didn't like somebody, I'm going to wrap it up now. Even when I've been on dates where I didn't like somebody, like, I would never leave them, like, with a bad feeling, because it's guaranteed that word would spread,
Yeah.
Like, that dating advice girl, she, like, took a phone call and left me there, stood me up there, whatever. Like, no. So there's always a graceful way to exit. Just end it quickly, but not in a rude way. So that's what I do if I've been out with somebody I'm not into.
Now, what does it take for the dating advice girl? What would it take to grab her attention? What would be a good date for Erin? And what would it take for Erin to be wanting to see the individual again and do somewhat of a steady relationship?
That's a great question. Or great questions. So, gosh, it's a hard question too. For me, honestly, the things that catch my attention the most are just someone who's genuine. Because there's so many times people, like, okay, so I'm a girl, so I'll speak for men in my experiences. So, sometimes guys will try to impress you with, like, just certain things like, oh, I do this, like, occupation, or I earn this much money, or I've been here, or I drive this car. And, like, I know some girls want to know that stuff, Personally, I'm not one of those girls. Like, I grew up in a small town in the Midwest. I do have some level of values. My parents are very hard workers, so it's one of those, and I mean, they taught me the value of, like, just having a good personality and being, having integrity and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so those things are very important to me. Someone who's, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You were on a roll there.
All right, yeah. So someone who has integrity and all that kind of stuff. So for me, someone who catches my attention is someone who's, like I said, very genuine. Someone, like, I can tell has some level of empathy or cares about others. Maybe they volunteer, or they help their family out, or they're close to their family, or that kind of thing. That stuff really, I like that stuff. But also, I will say, like I just said, people who try to impress me with their jobs. But having some sort of job is very important.
That always helps.
And the thing is, I know times are tough out there, especially right now. Unemployment's high, especially, here in the U.S. And it's just really interesting, though, because, everyone has tough times, right? But it's one of those things where even if you have tough times, there's always something constructive you can be doing. So that's a big plus for me. Like, if somebody is, like, maybe creating a project, or, they're, even if they are unemployed in their career type job, if they have any sort of, like, other sort of job that pays bills, I just can't, like, anyone who's a bum, I'm not interested in. No bums. No bums allowed.
Do you want me to hang up now? Just kidding.
No. But, like, for example, I mean, with my whole dating advice venture, I started that out a couple of years ago, not making any money from it. It was literally just a passion project. I was so excited about it. I mean, like, when I wasn't earning money doing other stuff, like working in TV, I was like working on ideas and planning things and, putting together a press kit and a business plan and all this stuff. And so, it's hard for me knowing that I do all of those things and I'm very
Active.
Ambitious. It's hard for me. I need to be with someone else who also is ambitious. So that's a big deal for me. If somebody's ambitious, that's a huge plus for me. And then I forget the second part of your question.
You did good. You did good. Now, here's another loaded question for you.
Okay.
Has the dating advice girl ever dated someone, say either long-term or short-term, and broken up with them, and then a little bit later down the road, in her mind and her heart, gone, damn, I wish I wouldn't have let him go?
No. Almost, there's maybe been one exception to that, but in general, and this is a general rule for single people out there, because it's hard, especially if you have dated someone, especially if you dated them for a long time, you're bonded to that person, so it's hard to let them go sometimes, but even though it's probably the best decision to let them go. But for me, generally speaking, once I'm done with a relationship, I'm done. The trick to that is that I'm usually friends with everyone I've gone out with. There's only a couple exceptions of people I'm not in touch with because the breakup was really bad or we just don't see eye to eye at all, and we're just never going to. So it's like, you know what, that's just not constructive for either of us. So let's just let each other go. But 95% of the time, the breakup is usually, I like to say that a breakup happens for a reason.
Exactly.
And so to go back to revisit a relationship that's broken up is just, you're basically going to run into the same problem most likely over and over again. So for me, I'm just like, no, it didn't work. But again, the reason I'm able to be friends with the people I've broken up with is because we end in respectful terms. There's an agreement that, we're not meant to be together in a romantic way. But that doesn't mean that we're the worst person on earth or you're the devil. No, I mean, it just means that we're not meant to be a couple, but I still want you in my life in some way, and I still respect you. And that's the only way it's ever going to work. Because, life's too short. People waste so much time on negative energy and just negative feelings about something. Because the thing is, when you have negative feelings about your ex, your ex is out there living life.
Yep.
They can care less. They've moved on, and the only person that is holding on to that and letting it destroy them is you.
Yep.
You're holding on to it, and it hurts you, and that person's out there having fun. So let it
Why
go.
not you too?
Yeah, exactly, and people just waste time with that. So, for me, when I break up, that's it. But they're still in my life usually as a friend. I'm friends with their new spouses or wives later usually. Now, again, there's no competition. People. There's respect there. If the wife or spouse wasn't okay with me being in their life, I would respect that.
True.
Exactly.
Very true.
So it's just, so yes, I like to have them in my life, but when a relationship's over for me, it's over.
Now, have you, I respect everybody, so I don't want any names, which obviously I would gather you wouldn't give me, but have you, what are some of the more, you're asked for advice, correct?
Yes.
What would be some of the most difficult questions people asking you for advice, and what would be one or two of the most outrageous or outlandish advice requests that you've ever received where you're just literally scratching your head going, where the hell did this come from?